Hi everyone, and welcome to A-Level Sociology at Richard Taunton Sixth Form College. I'm Zoe, and I'm one of the teachers of the course, so you might be in my class when you start in September. In order to prepare you for studying this course, you've been set some tasks which you should complete before your first lesson. So please can you make sure that you bring the work with you to that very first lesson, as they will be what you've done will be collected in. You should already have read the article called Introduction to Sociology, where you will have been given an idea of what we study and how we study, and also you should have watched a video on how to make Cornell notes. If you haven't done these tasks yet, then please can you do them before you move on to the theories part, as you will be using the Cornell notes method in this section. So I've created a series of PowerPoint videos which will give you a brief introduction into some of the theoretical perspectives that we will look at in sociology. We build on these theories as we progress throughout the course, so you'll need to have a foundation knowledge to build on in order to be able to apply them at a later date. As you watch the videos, make notes on each theory using the Cornell method that was in the video before, and you can use text and images if you like, but please make sure that you're using a ruler to divide up your page, and also make sure that you're creating separate notes pages for each of the separate theories which are covered in separate PowerPoints. This will help you differentiate between each theories, and it makes it a bit easier when you're quickly trying to reference one theory that you're less confident in when there's others that you already know. So it's best practice to space out each of the theories. So what I mean by that is maybe do functionalism today, and then feminism tomorrow, and Marxism the day after that, and so on. This just would mean that you'd be able to give your mind a bit of time to process your understanding of each of the theories, because there's loads of names, there's loads of different concepts, and you don't want them getting in a muddle. As mentioned before, these are very brief introductions, but if you want to find out more, then there's lots more videos on YouTube which will give you that further detail. We also have textbooks in the library, so when you arrive in September, you can always go there and borrow those from the sociology section. As well, when we start the course, if you're still a bit unclear of anything, then you can ask myself or the other sociology teacher for some clarification. Okay, right, so we will get on with functionalism then. Okay, so as mentioned, our first theory will be functionalism. We'll refer to this theory when we look at gender identities, and we'll also look at it when we look at all of the social inequalities. So we'll look at social class, gender, age and ethnicity inequality, and we will also look at them in the final unit, which is education, which you'll be studying in your second year. Functionalism is a consensus theory, which means that functionalists believe in order for society to function properly and to run smoothly, then everybody in society needs to be in agreement. Everyone should share common norms and values, which means that everyone follows the same expected behaviours and shares the same ideas of what is deemed as important in society. They use something called the organic analogy to try to help to explain society and how society functions. They see every aspect of society like an organ in the human body. They believe that everything has a particular function, and if it stops doing that function, then society would stop working. It would malfunction or die. Much like in a human body, if we were to take out the heart or both of the lungs, then the body would no longer be able to work. This includes all people and every institution in society in their analogy, such as the family, education, police force, government, and so on. Through the theories, we look at different sociologists who have written from each of the perspectives. The main guy in functionalism is this gentleman called Durkheim. He was the founding father of functionalism, and as you can tell by the photo, he was writing from a very different period of time to what we have in society today. But we can still apply his findings to what we've got going on in modern society. We'll also cover sociological concepts throughout the course, which we use frequently. At first, they'll feel a bit like you're learning a different language, but we use them so frequently, and you use them in your writing and when we're having discussions, so much so that you'll get to grips with them pretty quickly. So Durkheim believed that in order for society to function and be successful, then we needed to have something called a collective conscience. This means that everyone feels that they are responsible for helping to maintain society, regardless of the role that they play, be it a doctor or, for example, a bin man. This means that society will have social order and will be harmonious, functioning nicely with no challenges. He believed that people would accept their place in the division of labour. So, what he means by that is some jobs having higher status and others having lower status, and the same with pay, so some being well paid and some not being as well paid. He felt that people would understand their position and their role because they want society to function properly and those jobs need to be filled. So, everybody wants society to work, so they happily take on their role. Durkheim said that if people did not perform their function or were to have no collective conscience, so say for example turn their back on contributing to the smooth running society, then we would end up in a state of anomie, which is a state of chaos and dysfunction. Other functionalists have built on Durkheim's concepts, and one of those functionalists is Parsons. So Talcott Parsons, he comes up in several areas, as he does talk quite a lot about gender. So Parsons is another functionalist sociologist, and he has very traditional values and very traditional views. He was alive, he was writing in the 1950s. So back then you would have very much the traditional family in place, and the roles of men and women would be very different to what you'd expect in today's society. So he believed that the family plays a crucial role in supporting society. He said that women should play what he called the expressive role, which is the idea that they should be a housewife, taking care of the children and making sure that the man is well looked after so that he can relax and refresh, ready for his next day at work. He believed that the role of the man was the instrumental role. He played the most important part, which was to provide for the family and to go out to work. This role was also known as the breadwinner. So Parsons believed that the wife would support the man in playing his functioning role in the wider society, in the place of work, and this would therefore help society to run smoothly. With every theory, we will always look at ways to criticize them, as evaluation is one of the main and more advanced skills that we are assessed on. We will use other theories to criticise usually, but in this introductory phase, we'll do more general criticisms. So one key criticism, or the main criticism, is that functionalism can be seen to be overly harmonious. So functionalists think that everyone is in it together and that people understand and accept their role in society, no matter what it is. But other sociologists would argue that this isn't the case. Some people do not contribute at all to society, or perform a particular function that contributes in any way. So, for example, those who are maybe on welfare benefits, they are not they're not working, so they're not contributing to the smooth running of society, and they're more of a burden on the system rather than playing a functional role. It also does not acknowledge that lots of people are very unhappy with the way society is, because he's kind of got this very positive look on things. Lots of people in society are very unhappy about the fact that that some people earn lots of money, and some people have much higher status, and people see this as unjust and unfair. They believe this is partly because not everybody who has those higher jobs in society, not everybody has got there through hard work. So lots of people in society have sort of hidden opportunities, more opportunities than other people. So, for example, coming from a wealthy background means that you're more likely to have one of these more valuable sort of roles in society. And some people would argue that that's not fair, and lots of people do speak out about it and criticise it in society. Hopefully, you have completed a Cornell notes page for functionalism. Do go back and pause the video and add more detail if you feel that you've not got very much there. But as I said before, it is a brief outline, but you do want to make sure you got the key themes and ideas, pulling out the concepts and the names of the sociologists. What I'd like you to do now is please use different coloured highlighter pens. One colour to highlight key sociologists, so that's the names, so Durkheim, Parsons, and another colour highlighter to pull out the use of concepts. So concepts are specialist words which have sociological meaning. So things like value consensus, things like collective conscience, organic analogy. If you're unsure of any of the concepts used in this presentation, then research them online to help support your understanding, and do make a note of those on your notes page. And we will also be covering them again in more detail as we progress throughout the course. So we'll use studies and concepts throughout your essays, so it's crucial that you are using them in your writing, and that's why I will, as standard, instruct you to highlight and pull out those things in your writing, as that's what the examiner is looking for. So please could you leave some time between this PowerPoint and the next one, like I said earlier, to give your brain some time to process functionalism before you then go on to do the same process with the next theory.